Hello, and welcome to the We Are Power podcast. If this is your first time here, the We Are Power podcast is the podcast for you, your career, and your life. We release an episode every single Monday with listeners in over 60 countries worldwide, where you'll hear personal life stories, top-notch industry advice, and key leadership insight from amazing role models. As We Are Power is the umbrella brand to Northern Power Women Awards, which celebrates hundreds of female role models and advocates every year. This is where you can hear stories from all of our awards alumni and stay up to date with everything MPW Awards and We Are Power. Today, I'm joined by Eloise Leonard-Cross, who is the Group Head of People at Northumbrian Water Limited, the winner of our large organisation at this year's Northern Power Women Awards. Eloise is passionate about skills development, also in her own spare time, which I don't know where you find the time for from that, is a mentor and a school governor and leads on health, wellness, inclusion, diversity, change management and culture shift initiatives. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thanks, Mo.
And we've talked about those multiple new roles that you've got, both within Northumbrian Water and then outside. Especially you're a governor and a mentor. How important are those side hustles to you?
Yeah. It's a great question, actually, one we've been having recently, because we've undertaken some research into mid-career and had this really interesting conversation around where do you get your sort of richness and different perspectives from. And for me, it's about that. You know, you have your kind of core role like many people, but all of these other activities, programs, organizations you're involved with give you that totally fresh and different perspective that really challenges what you do and how you do it. So yeah, it definitely gives me energy, but also gives me insight and helps me innovate in what I do in Northumbrian Water Group.
Exactly. Is that innovation, I think, isn't it? I think we talk a lot about innovation, thinking that it's something that is coded or whatever, but actually it's that richness, like you say, that you can bring from outside in, and it helps you be you, doesn't it? And health, well-being, inclusion, diversity, that is all around your experience. And I want to sort of dive into that a little bit, because we've definitely seen over the recent years a positive shift, if you like, to prioritising mental health and wellness. Have you seen that in your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, both experience, you're absolutely right. The data is pointing out that, a lot of organizations, over a quarter of organizations are looking at focusing on health and well-being, more significantly over the next 12 months than they were the last. So we know it's important to people, it's important to organizations. But yeah, absolutely. I think, being a healthy human is becoming something organizations talk about, and recognizing that, that some of it may not be in our area of responsibility, but it's in our area of benefit. The healthier the people we are in the workplace, the more likely they are to do a great day's work, support one another, actually feel they can contribute. We've already referenced it. They innovate because they're curious. They've got a bit more to give. So yeah, it makes business sense, but also it just feels right. I think one of the things I love about living and working in this time is the fact that we can talk about health and well-being far more openly and far more positively.
And I see a lot in the different WhatsApp groups that I'm in of people commenting in somewhat privately, but in a safe space of a WhatsApp group. And they're talking about that balancing, that harmony, and all the juggle that goes with all those multiple responsibilities. What is that one piece of advice that you would offer someone who is trying to protect their mental health?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. I think, being very realistic, the world we live in now, there's no such thing as a balance that works. It's a continuum, as you say, it's that continual sort of, sort of think of it like a river that's flowing along. It's the rhythm and the ebbs and flows. And I think, you think about like that's something you need a bit of at one point is different another. We use a really simple concept in Northumbrian Water Group called the wellness reservoir. And very much like a reservoir, what we love about this is that, a range of resources can top you up and get your water levels high. And a range of things gradually, even if you do nothing wrong, will erode, it will evaporate, there will be like minor leaks. So we get people to really simply sit down and have a chat about their wellness reservoir. And the great thing is you could do it with a child, you could do it with another adult. It doesn't have to just be used in the workplace, but it helps people think about at that one point in time, what's topping them up, what's draining them out, and where they maybe need to take some action. Because if it's draining faster than it's topping, you need to do some more proactive, but sometimes it's about preventative and what's draining out. But it's a lovely visual, and it definitely works for our sector.
It's definitely visual, and anyone who would think you would work for in the water industry.
Yes.
And just sort of moving on from that a little bit is that sometimes people think that self-care is selfish, but actually it is important to visibly and intentionally putting yourself first and taking some of that time out, because that can reflect back into whether it's your side hustles or into your business, people seeing you put yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my view is, we've all got a responsibility to be the best we can be. And actually, people appreciate and value that around you. I know the kind of energy I prefer to exhibit and bring to a team. And that comes from having other things that motivate, energize me. But also, exactly as you say, it can be spending time in a different environment with different people is just as rejuvenating as going on a spa day. Different things at different points. But you're absolutely right. I think it's talking about, if we go back to this sort of reservoir analogy, it's being quite open about the things that maybe detract from your feelings of energy and the things that contribute to it, and accepting they will be different for each person. Some of my colleagues give them a detailed spreadsheet and they will absolutely love getting stuck into that. Other people, that would really drain them out. And I think, it's thinking about in work and outside of work, being very honest, we're different. That's what brings the interest.
And I think it's being specifically you. It is, you do you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And talking about diversity and inclusion, it is everyone's responsibility. It's not just head of D&I or HR or head of people. It is within an organisation, large or small, it is everyone's responsibility to create that environment. So, but sometimes people can think it's too difficult, or they think they've already done it because they've done that programme or that initiative in there. What would you say, or that one piece of advice, if there is a situation within your organisation or something that you see, how do you call out behaviour, but in a professional and constructive way? So if you see something or come across it, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, because you've sort of inferred there that people think, D&I is about doing stuff. The stuff, the programs, the activities, the promoting, the participating, they're brilliant things, but they're not what D&I is about. D&I is about a mindset of thinking, am I helping create an organisation that is better as a result of things I spot, say, see, do, encourage? And is it, as a result of the sort of the things I sort of see as opportunities as well? So I think, to answer your question specifically about how we do it, our approach is called Safe to Say. And what it's about saying is, if you see something that's not quite right, that either directly impacts you or importantly impacts others, because sometimes it's about, advocating and raising things. And this can be around behavior or something that, it could be around language, it could be around how something's being done, a process. We have both open mechanisms where you can, attach your name and yourself to it. But equally importantly, anonymous mechanisms using sort of thinking that we use actually as a process we use around external whistleblowing. We use that internally, so it allows people to have the confidence that they can do something anonymously, and it gives a route. It's been important to us as a business to say, can we be absolutely sure people have the routes they need to flag when something's not quite right? And I think for any organisation, that's a journey that never stops, checking you've got that right.
No one is there, are they? No one is.
Never.
There's never a finish line to cross with that. It has
exactly.
to keep. It's interesting, like innovation is like, we need to keep innovating this. This is the word of this podcast, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the things that we love is, we have an annual innovation festival. One of the things we talk about is recombination innovation, and that's the most common kind. And it's only through diversity. One of my favourite books is The Medici Effect. It's that sort of, bumping up of two very different things creates innovation. And I'm a great believer in that. There's nothing new under the sun, but we keep recombining ideas from different fields, different areas of practice. And that's basically the sort of premise of our innovation festival. It's keep on getting different people working together, and the things that come out of it are phenomenal.
I like that recombination, and we have an inclusive innovation category as part of the awards programme. And this year we very much looked at what is people innovation or human-centred innovation versus tech for good, if you like. And I like the idea of that that recombination. I'm going to take that now. I'm going to take that news there.
Take it and use it.
But sort of flagging back to March this year when you won the large org category, a large organisation category at the awards. On the back of that win, you joined us a few weeks ago for judging, which is quite the process. 1,600 nominations whittled down to long lists, put in front of 12 different judging panels over 4 days and 80 judges. Just need to lie down even thinking about it. But I know during the lightning intros we did in the panel that you were judging, you talked about how there's been a real benefit for you winning the award and the tangible of being that visible, sort of aligning itself with Northern Power Women Awards and attracting sort of wider talent that you might not have previously reached. That really stood out to me. What else has it meant to you, the awards?
Yeah, and I think, the important thing is, these things, sometimes it's easy to think about, we've already referenced this here, but it's easy to think about you going for awards when you're there, you've made it. Most people, and from judging, seeing that, one of the things we talked about is everyone who steps forward, they've done some amazing things, but they're on a journey. And I think, as an organisation, I feel very much like that. We put in for the Northern Power Women Awards very much as do you know what, we've done some good stuff. It's a good way of sort of summarising what we've done and put in for it. And as you well know, we didn't expect to win that award. But I think from our point of view, what it's allowed us to do, the coverage on the back of it has helped us give us just a very different platform to talk. The good thing about the Northern Power Women Awards is it's not just a sector specific or an occupational area. It really is about demonstrating your commitment to levelling up across a whole raft of things. And it gives us stuff that we can, sort of share and promote. But it's not just about the accolade, it's about us thinking differently. And one of the important things that the Northern Power Women Award gave us was this sort of, actually, we're hearing and seeing things from being part of this process, from attending the awards night, from being tagged and included in things. It's challenging our thinking. So, the most important thing I would say is we're definitely on our journey. We have so much work to do, but we know we've made progress, and that's key.
Brilliant. And that's brilliant. Thank you for replaying that back to us. And we going back to sort of skills, because I know skills development is something that really close to you, what you do every day and also in the side hustles. But soft skills compared to technical skills, there's a real importance, isn't there, in why we need to develop those softer, more interpersonal skills within organisations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's that difference between you can get someone who can do the what of the job, but if they deliver it in a way that doesn't work for those around them, it's pointless. More and more you'd see people who maybe don't have the best technical skills, but they've got a brilliant approach and style, with people generally being more successful. I love the research that Adam Grant talks about when he talks about people with more of an altruistic sort of collaborative mindset, but versus those individual sort of mindset. And those with the individual mindset, that he looks at people doing their medical degree, and he talks about this research that that people who got very much individual mindset do really well in year 1 and 2 of medical degree, where you're individually assessed. As soon as they come to going on wards and working with people and working with others, actually it levels up. And then by the end, after you're in role, actually the people are more altruistic, but maybe don't necessarily have the same sort of academic credentials, actually start doing on average a lot better. And I love that as a concept, because I think it shows that collaborating, working together, that how you do it can really have a huge impact, because it's combined wisdom, and people are more likely to share and contribute and lean into things you're doing, which are more likely to be successful if how we do it and those soft skills are in the right place.
And talk to me about mentoring, because I know social mobility is a massive passion of yours, and through your day job, also through your school governance, how critically important is mentoring, especially in impacting emerging talent in young people's careers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'd go with mentoring being the premium, but as a minimum, we just need some career exposure, or people, sort of some of the schools that I'm involved with and the education roles. Sometimes it's even just about having some degree of contact, with someone doing different jobs, working, something to light that flame and ignite. But from a mentoring point of view, you go into these things with the intention of saying, well, hopefully I can help someone. The amount you learn and the amount you're challenged just by the questions, and often the tough questions you get asked, about your underpinning assumptions or why you did certain things, it helps you develop and grow as a leader, as a professional. So, for me, mentoring it's something you feel good about, but it's also something you feel you learn through. And I think, that's a natural double win. And given the nature of mentoring, majority of people can do it if they want to do it. And I think that's the important thing. If we all said, how much do we put back? I think there's probably a lot of opportunities. We could all do a bit more.
And I think everyone, but it isn't everyone. Everyone can give back. Everyone can do something. And there's different forms of mentoring. It can be more formal, more informal, group mentoring. Where would you start? Someone listening out there think, mentoring, I just don't know where to find one. Where do I go? What would you suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good point. I think it can be hard with the sort of different groups. I think there's opportunities as you look at stuff. Obviously Northern Power Women offer mentoring, but you have things like Girls Network. You have things through, sort of careers and regional providers. I often think, sort of starting something regionally can be quite a good way to see what, sometimes it's through the chamber, sometimes it's through your, your combined authority. It can be a bunch of different stuff, but, ask people, very few people mind being asked, who might be a good person to reach out to or contact. You can do that. But we have so many good schemes, and having mentored for the Girls Network, one of the things that always impressed me with that is they managed to pull together so many females to do, sort of be great role models and contacts. And if mentoring feels a bit too big, a lot of organizations have the opportunity to contribute to careers advice or careers events and things like that. As a minimum, I'd love everyone in our workplace to have done something like that over a couple of year period.
Absolutely. Even going back to the school or community centre or wherever you've been on, you're going back and to give that. And absolutely, we have a digital hub, wearepower.net, that we have got thousands and thousands of individuals with profiles on there who want to be visible and want to be accessible. So please, like you say, Eloise, just ask. And I think it's so important. Now, you've talked about Northumbrian Water being on the journey. What's next? What are you excited for coming up?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff. So, in this year, in the summer, as part of our innovation festival, we piloted a really large scale approach to work experience for 14 and 15-year-olds. So that was bringing together almost 1,000 young people across the board to reach out and get some real important workplace experience, both virtual and in person. We're going to build on that this year, and I think that's fantastic particularly because the schools we target, they're young people who won't get work experience otherwise, so they're immediately missing something in their CV, that important sort of exposure. So we'll continue to build on that, which is really exciting. I think for us, other big stuff that's going on is our Women in STEM network. So that goes from strength to strength, and that's how we reach out to encourage females to join our business, but also once you join, how you feel connected to something far greater and benefit from shared wisdom. I talk about that a lot, but it's being able to tap into knowing there's something far greater than you and there's people there to talk to when you need it. So they're two of the things that particularly excite me.
And how can people get involved in the festival? Is it next summer?
So the Innovation Festival is, yes, it is. You're absolutely right. It's early July. So our website is Innovation Festival. So quite straightforward. So if you pop Northumbrian Water Innovation Festival into Google, you shall find it. It's truly open innovation. So we welcome organisations who want to collaborate on a shared challenge. And we also welcome, individuals who just want to either take part in one of our virtual hacks or dashes or sprints, and people who want to attend in person. So we take over Newcastle Racecourse. It is truly a fabulous festival. So lots of celebrity guests as well. So we really believe we love different people coming along. We're international now, helping set up innovation festivals in Australia and Iceland. Wow. So it's huge. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Wow, that's amazing. That is quite the journey. Well, I'm looking forward to catching up, finding out what happens there. Recombination, no doubt, will happen if that.
It will. It so will.
And please make sure you keep your own wellness reservoir topped up or let some of it out as you go. Eloise, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, and thank you for being such a wonder and driving everything that you do over at Northumbrian Water and your side hustles, of course. Thanks, Eloise.
Thank you.
Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review or follow us on socials. We are power_net on Insta, TikTok and Twitter. Or We Are Power on LinkedIn, Facebook. And We Are _power on YouTube.